everyone, today we have here our presentation. The name of our game is Intergalactic Warfare. My name is Phillipa, these are my colleagues Usmaan and Waleed, and I'm going to explain the overview of the game. So the game can be played on console and PCs. It's about gang wars in the outer space, and the target of our game is 16 above because it has mature content, strong language, and it's directed mostly to males. It's an action kind of game as well, and it has like violence and blood and stuff. So it's not good.
So we're going to explain some unique features of this game. What differentiates this game from other games such as Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row? There's different games of the same genre. From the start, what we have is realism increased. So, for example, way that GTA lets you change your haircut, our game ensures, as we see on this picture here, that you have to wait for your hair to reach a certain length to cut it for a certain style. This is going to increase the realism and improve the playability of the game. Other factors that we're also going to include is real-life cars. So we're going to get licensing off different manufacturers, which can allow us to put real cars in the game, such as Bugatti Veyron, Ford Focus, real cars you see on the street. Furthermore, we're going to have real guns, as same with the licensing with different manufacturers, and we're going to have different body types in the game. What makes people want to play it is this increase in the realism of the game, as well as it being different. There's no game that tackles gang wars in the way of different outer space. There's no mixture of that in the market, and we see a gap that we can exploit at the moment in time.
So as you can see, there's 5 different levels to this game. Where the first level will be set in outer space. Here it'll be kind of dark and loud, as you can hear everything from the earth going on. Then moving on to level 2, it'll be set in the desert. Here it'll be warm, very light, and as you said, the realism, people will be sweating, so they've got to make sure they're wearing the right clothing. Level 3, it'll be set in a city in Jupiter. It'll be cold here as they're in outer space, so as again realism, they'll have to make sure they wear proper clothes. The level 4 will be set in the Amazon rainforest. It'll be quite warm here, muddy and wet, as it is set in a rainforest. 5th level will be taken back to the level 1, same place. This is because we want the game to finish where it started. We want it all to link up. And the sound, the user will hear many sounds such as ambient background noise, dependent on what environment they are in. They will hear realistic sounds like car engines and civilians talking. This contrasts to the rainforest environment dominated with the calls of multiple birds. The game story is set in outer space. On all of the planets are trying to rule the galaxy, but you as a planet standing from the bottom, you're the worst planet going, and now is your time to climb the ladder and gain control. There are 2 main NPCs. The first one is called Young Samosa, and the second one is called, the female one is called Young Pakora. These are the only 2 NPCs so far that we have a full backstory to. The female one, she's come from the army, she doesn't know what she's doing, she's lost where she is. And the male one, he's just been a bully since day. He's just grown up bullying people, and he's failed in life.
So we've been inspired by different cultures and different themes through different media such as movies, music. Character inspiration has come from games such as Saints Row and San Andreas, with characters over here being pictured with gang type clothing on in that kind of style. Whereas the setting inspirations also come from films such as Straight Outta Compton, which is a very gang based movie which focuses on gang warfare between 2 different gangs similar to our game. The gameplay is inspired highly by Compton. In California, it's a highly volatile type of area, Bloods, Crips, different type of gangs going on there. And similarly, artists such as Kendrick Lamar, who talk about these kind of problems that people face and how to tackle them, which is why we're going to tackle in each different level.
There are a lot of interactions in the game. So, for example, when playing single player, to even start the game, you've got to go through a lot of interactions. The main actions will be told to you on the screen. So as you're playing, when you first start off, there'll be it'll help you what to do. So it'll give you the basic controls. There are a lot of game rules in this game. The main one is you can't complete the game while playing on free mode or changing the difficulty. So for example, you can play free mode, whereas you can have it on the easiest difficulty if you want to play it however you want. There are a lot of challenges and rewards for playing the game. One big reward that you can gain from playing this game is that you gain the 1,000 of the in-game currency, which you can spend on your attire. So for example, you can buy weapon skins, skins for your player. There are many difficulties in the game. So for example, one will be very easy, which means that everyone is weak, so they don't know what to do. The other one is hard. The other one is hard. So for example, you can choose on what difficulty you want to play. The balance in this game is that the difficulty will be in the middle, so that it's all equal. So when you play normal, everyone will be equal, so everyone will have the same amount of health. There are 5 different levels. As the first one is the easiest, then it gets harder, and you proceed on to a different level. This game, every level, the game changes up. It gets very different, so you don't get bored doing the same thing over and over again. But here, every level is unique in its own way.
The game is based in this space and has like a lot of different environment. We decided to make it like this, so it has makes it more realistic for players, and it's not boring as well to play. The feedback interface just allows the player to, it gives the players like basic movement controls, so they know how to play in the games at first. Perspective wise, we decided to change it. It's like to give the player a choice, either first person or second or third person, depending on their ability and their skill. And there's like a cutscene at the start of the game as well.
So other interesting features that we've implemented into the game is monetization. However, we've seen that the base in consumers in general in the game and don't like monetization to be based upon improving how easy it is for a player, but more microtransactions that allow you to change your clothing, maybe your car, things that don't directly impact how well you can play the game. Leaderboards are going to differentiate players based on skill, so this can be between your friends, between similar players in your local area, as well as worldwide. And in the future, if we are to implement some sort of game event, we'll use the leaderboards to decide who is invited and who are the highest level players. As well as dedicated forums, which we're going to set up, we're going to maintain, test and implement during the life cycle of the game, such as this one here, to ensure that players know what they're doing, any questions get answered, and if any bugs and glitches are found in the game, we can adhere to them correctly.
So some of the points that we did not mention in the PowerPoint are the guns and the weapons that are going to be used. So one of them is the sketch of the handgun style, and we use that for the gang on the earth to make it more realistic for them, because it's something that it's on earth. And it has high recoil and high accuracy, and it allows the player to maintain distance within gunfight. Another one is the space start one, and it will be given to the enemy gun as they are based on space. And it's really advanced, it's really powerful, and for the gunner to gain this kind of weapon, they'll have to kill one of the enemy players. And we use that as well because it's fit to the theme of the space war. So another one is the hammer, and it's really powerful and is used to hit on the ground and clear out any debris in the player's way. Anything else, guys, that you want? So that's it, and this is our PowerPoint.
Okay, so I've just got a couple of questions. If you can go back to game setting and background. Yeah, okay, perfect. So here, can you just explain to me the atmosphere that you want to have in the different levels, maybe between when they're fighting and when they're not fighting?
Oh wait, alright, yeah. Well, it's going to be quite cold in most of the places. It's set in outer space. but mainly it will be quite loud because there's a lot of people, so there's a lot of fighting going on. There'll be loads of screaming, loads of noises, loads of gunshots going off and things like that. It's always going to be quite loud and cold.
Okay, cool. What particular music?
See, the kind of music we're looking to use is like ambient music, scary music, so people know that it's some sort of like action game. The sound effects we're going to be using are like gunshot sounds, civilians talking, things like that.
Okay, if we can go to game story and characters, can you just explain to me like what they're wearing and why you've chosen that?
So they'll be wearing, so it depends on the level, so say if they're in a level where it's quite warm, they'll be wearing something like a vest and some shorts, but whereas say if they're in a cold area, they'll be wearing some big coat armors and stuff, so they make sure they're warm, so they know how they're able to fight. Okay,
and specifically the main, like your avatar, the main character, what's their kind of like typical?
Young Cheesecake, his main one is he's got a body vest on, like body armor. He's always got that on no matter what, and it depends on the like I said, it depends on the weather. His trousers will be changing.
So do you choose that? Does the user choose that?
You're able to purchase clothing to change it on the character.
Okay, and what clothing are you given at the very beginning though?
Like what? At the very beginning is the body armor and the standard pair of trousers with a bandana around his head.
Right. Okay. Can we go to gameplay mechanics? Okay, so you said that there are lots of different challenges. Give me some specific challenges.
So, say for example, the first one, the most basic one will be kill 10 of the enemy players in a certain planet, and then say another one it'll be take out a certain amount of hearts. So say 5 hearts, and then the hardest one will probably be take over all of the galaxy.
Okay, right. If you can just go to visual style and concept art. Can you explain to me a bit more of the architecture and a bit more kind of like the objects and why you've chosen them?
Okay, so architecture, when we're talking about different buildings, they're going to be relative to what planet we're on. For example, on Earth, we're going to have, for example, in the city zones, we're going to have business type of flats, we're going to have like quite modern things, but that's on Earth. Whereas when we go to space, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, them kind of planets, you're going to see more advanced. You're going to see more advanced architecture. You're going to see more things being binded together by electricity sparking in the air, that kind of thing, which is going to improve realism and then gameplay for the user.